Hello everyone, my name is Zachary Beaver, and today I want to talk on the topic of social media. Uh, did you know that 20% of people who have at least one social media account feel that they have to check it at least once every 3 hours to avoid feeling anxious? That's something that I've personally experienced, and I know a lot of people around me have dealt with. It's really easy once you find a little ding on your phone to go check it and feel like you have to do it as soon as it pops up. Otherwise, you feel on edge or you feel like you're missing out on something. And that's one of the major problems that we face with social media today. And it's one of the reasons why I believe that social media is the destroyer of young minds. And it can also affect people in 3 different ways for the most part. And those are mental health, physical health, and relational health. So on the aspect of mental health, everyone is kind of affected by mental illness in some way, shape, or form, whether that's yourself personally or that is a friend or family member who struggles with anxiety or other mental illnesses such as those. And social media can be heavily tied to those things. Social media, in the aspect of the dings, like we already talked about, getting the notifications can cause a lot of anxiety in multiple people's lives. It can also cause depression when looking at your life compared to others, and it creates a very large comparison culture that is very toxic to a young person's mental health specifically. And it has also been linked to many cases of suicide, in cases of bullying and things like that, and social media has played a large role in a lot of those statistics that we see a lot of nowadays. The second way that social media can affect a person is in their physical health. In America, we often allow our exercise to take a back seat while we clear out our schedules for vegging out on social media sites and other streaming venues. And some of the things that we need to keep in mind and be careful about are the amount of times that we are spending inside on social media, and how that affects just who we are, because not only can that affect our physical health, but it can also affect our mental health as well. And one thing we don't often think about is the effect that social media has had on obesity rates in our day and age. We struggle a lot with people being overweight. I've dealt with that myself, and social media has not made that any easier. It's really easy just to sit on the couch all day and scroll through Instagram or get on YouTube and spend 8 hours and not realize what you were doing. And one of the things about social media is that it isn't just affecting our young people. Yes, it is most prevalent in our young people and can have that effect on people's health at a young age, but social media can also range across the spectrum. We have things like Facebook that we have a lot of grandparents and parents using now, and it still affects a lot of what everyone's daily life entails. And the next biggest thing is relational health, and this can tie back in with mental health as well. But social media, like I already mentioned, can create such a comparison culture, a culture where you look at someone else's life and you compare yours to that, thinking that, oh, mine's not as good, or I can't get to where they are, and it'll never look as pretty as their life is. And that just creates a self-consciousness issue, which is already prevalent in our time period today. Because we are constantly comparing ourselves to each other, to other cultures, to different events that are going on, and that self-consciousness can take a toll on every aspect of health, whether that be mental or physical, and also in our relationships. That makes us compare ourselves to others around us, even outside of the social media aspect. The next thing that can be affected in our healthy relationships is our verbal communication skills, actually. So there are multiple studies that show that when you are constantly involved in communicating on social media, when it comes down to communication in person, face to face, it is very difficult. That's why we see a a lot of difficulty in young people getting jobs today because they aren't able to get past a lot of the interview phases because they're so used to the online communication and the kind of not face-to-face, non-verbal communication types that it limits their ability to have those communications in person. And also social media creates an idea of loneliness, which is something that can again affect every part of our healthy lives, and can create a lot more of the anxiety and the depression that was already talked about. And it can make you feel like you're still comparing yourself to other people, but you're seeing other people hanging out with people and seeing the fun things that they're doing with a large group, and it can make you feel so isolated, especially in the time of what we had last year with COVID and everything. You feel so isolated while others are out having fun, enjoying their life. And it can really take a toll on every aspect of your health. And just to wrap everything up, I believe that heavy social media usage can cause issues in every aspect of a person's life. As shown by all the examples, social media if not properly used, can severely impact every aspect, whether that be your physical, your emotional, or your mental health. And if we really cared about the well-being of everyone that we're surrounded by, especially as the church, then there needs to be more of an emphasis put on staying away from social media as much as possible, and more effort put into ways to connect with people outside of an often toxic cyberspace. And that's pretty much it for me today. Thank you all for listening. Have a good one.